Good morning. Let's do some yoga. Seated position. You could be in a chair. You can be on the floor. I'm just on a yoga mat on my floor. Now I want you to sit tall and breathe. Deep breath in through the nose and let it go. Deepen your breath. Slow your breath. Find your rhythm. Breathe with your belly. So as the belly pushes out, we're breathing in. And as the belly falls into the spine, we breathe out. Use the action of the diaphragm. It's okay if your chest moves, but we want to draw the emphasis to the belly. With your hand on your belly, you can feel again as you breathe in, the hand pushes out. And as you breathe out, the hand falls in. Let's introduce a count to that. So as you breathe in, I want you to count in your head to whatever number works for you. It could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 10. That's dependent on you and your lungs and your breathing rhythm. So take a deep breath to prepare. Let that go. And then breathe in for the count. Breathe out for the count. In. Out. In. Out. Two more. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe easy. So when I'm doing that, I'm calling out the cadence that works for me and my lungs, but of course it might be different for you and your lungs. You got to figure out the count that works for you. I want to try and draw that out even further by adding the count at the top with the lungs full and adding the count at the bottom with the lungs empty. So we breathe in for the count, then we hold the lungs full for the count, then we breathe out for the count and hold the lungs empty for the count. Let's take 3 breaths to prepare. Breathe in and out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe in for the count. Hold. Breathe out for the count. Hold. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. In. Hold. Out. Hold. 2 more on your own cadence. Breathe easy. So normally we breathe about 10 or 12 times per minute. One of the main points of that is just to feel the difference and how much you can tap in to the present moment just by slowing things down, just by slowing down your breath. It depends on you and your cadence, but some of us might get to 3 or maybe even just 2 breaths a minute, or maybe even longer than that, depending on how long you hold your breath. Of course, the point is not to create any kind of anxiety. You shouldn't feel like you're about to run out of breath, like you're going to suffocate. If that's the case, then just decrease the cadence and make the interval shorter so that your lungs can handle it. And again, that's going to be different for everybody's lungs. All right, let's warm up the neck, sitting up tall, sitting up straight. And I'm just going to keep my spine long, look up, and look down. Just an exaggerated nod, yes. Go slow. Go through the range of motion that is available to you. Good. Coming back to neutral. And then looking over the shoulder. An exaggerated nod, no. Again, take your time. Do not move past pain. If it hurts, don't do it. Good. Back to neutral. And then I want to do a chin tuck. So for this one, I'm going to turn to the side. And I'm trying to slide my head back. So this is cervical retraction. My eyes stay level. My spine stays long. And I tuck my chin into my neck. And then relax forward. Sync this up with your breath. So as you breathe in, tuck the chin in. Exhale, relax forward. Inhale, tuck back. Exhale, relax forward. One more time. Relax forward. Let's do the same thing with our shoulders. So sitting at first, I just want to use my shoulders. I can put my hands on my knees and try and draw my shoulders into my spine. And then as I relax, my shoulders round forward. Sync this up with the breath. Inhale, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, relax forward. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, relax forward. Are your shoulders popping up? Try to keep the shoulders down. Try not to let them pull up. Try to just pull them back. One more time. Good. Let's add the weight of the arms to that. So if I bring my arms straight out in front of me, shoulder height, my thumbs are up. And what I'm going to do again is breathe in and pull my shoulders back. Exhale, relax forward. The arms stay straight. Breathe in, pull back. Exhale, relax forward. We're just moving the shoulder blades over the rib cage. Breathe in, pull back. Exhale, forward. 2 more. Breathe in, pull back. Exhale, forward. Breathe in, pull back. Exhale, forward. Relax, shake that out. And then let's see if we can do the same thing with the arms up overhead. So the breathing sequence will be different for that one. With that, as you breathe in, you're going to be stretching up towards the ceiling, and as you breathe down, out, you'll be pulling the shoulders down. So bring the arms up overhead, shoulders are relaxed. And then I want you to breathe in, try and stretch the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, try and pull the shoulders down, tuck them into your back pockets. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Exhale, down. Relax, shake it out. And let's go right into another shoulder exercise. I'm going to place my hands right beside my hips. Some people need a block. If you're sitting on a chair, you can grab the edge of the chair or maybe the armrest. And we're kind of doing a little miniature dip. All I'm trying to do is push the floor away with my hands. Relax back up. I want to sync this up with my breath, so I'm going to inhale when I'm relaxed, exhale and push. Inhale back down. Exhale, push. Inhale, relax. Exhale, push. Inhale, down. 2 more, push. Last one, push. And once you've got your keister back on the floor, relax, shake it out. Hopefully you got some good warmth in your shoulders now. All right, let's go with the spine. So I want to do a seated cat-cow. From this position, I'm going to breathe in and extend my spine and look up. And then exhale, flex my spine and look down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. Last one, inhale back, open the chest. Exhale forward, let the shoulders and the chest round forward. And then coming back to neutral, sitting up tall and straight. Let's warm the spine up, going side to side. So for that one, I'm coming down to my elbow. I want to imagine that my back's flat against the wall. I don't want to let myself slump forward. I'm just going to bend laterally to the side. My hips are naturally going to try and pop up. Do your best to keep them down on the floor. Some folks like to have a block under their elbow here, depending on the length of your arms and the mobility of your spine. Just whatever works for you. I want you to just hang out here for a couple of breaths. And then we're going the other way. So back to the center, check in with the spine, and then down to the opposite elbow. Try to keep the hips centered, hips anchored down to the floor. Breathe. Back the other way, check in with the spine at the center, and then like I said, back the other way, down to the elbow. This time if you want, throw the arm in. Use the weight of the arm to open up the side of your body. back to the center, and then go the other way. Down to the elbow, drape the arm over the top, use the weight of the arm. Good, back to the center. Let's do a twist next. So let's take the hand behind us for a kickstand for support. This hand's going to reach across to the outside of the opposite knee. I'm already twisted. Before I want to go any further, I'm going to reach tall through the crown of my spine, and then if I can, if my spine will let me, I can push off of this knee and rotate my head around to get more of a twist. But as always, don't move past pain. You're just going as far as your spine will allow. You might find that as you breathe and relax, the muscles relax, and you might be able to get more of a twist. Come out of that slow, back to neutral. And then when you're ready, go the other way. Hand goes behind. Reach across to the outside of the opposite knee. Lengthen the spine, reaching through the crown. And then rotate on around as best your spine will allow. Good, come back to neutral. Check back in with the spine, and then we're going to roll around in a big circle. So I'm going to lean forward, keeping my spine long, and then you can have your hands on your lap, or you can have your hands out in front of you, whatever works for you. Just go slow, take your time, 3 big circles. And then switch directions. Good, back to neutral. Let's put the soles of the feet together. And if you're sitting in a chair, that's okay. You can still put the outside edge of your foot against the floor. And then as you're able, if you're seated, you can bring your feet in towards your groin. Try and get these muscles here on the inside of your hips to relax. The groin muscles, the adductor muscles. See if you can't breathe and get them to let go. If you want to take this one further, fold forward, place your hands on the floor in front of you. Work with your breath to see if you can increase the stretch. Good, come up out of that, and let's straighten the legs out into staff. So you can wake them up a little bit. And then we're trying to get our body into a right angle, so the hips are anchored into the floor and we're reaching through our legs, and we're reaching through our spine. Our body is bent at a 90-degree right angle. You should feel the stretch in your lower back and in your hamstrings. Your back wants to let go, it wants to get off the hook, it wants to kind of let you slump forward. Don't let it engage the lower back, chest out, sit up tall. If you want, from this position, you can engage your thighs and try and pull your feet towards your face. That's going to make it tougher, but you'll feel more of a stretch. If you want to take that further, reach the hands up overhead. With each breath, see if you can't reach a little bit higher. And then on an exhale, slowly fold forward over both legs. Relax at the bottom. See if you can't get your hamstrings to relax. Some folks here like to have a strap or a belt or something like that around their feet that they can hold on to. Some people can easily grab a hold of their feet. I've got my hands at my ankles. It's whatever works for you. Come up out of that, bend both knees to the chest, hug the knees, just take a breath. When you're ready, we're going to rock to our backs. You can get there however you want. I like to hook under the hamstrings and rock back. So we're flat on our back, legs are bent. Feet are flat on the floor. And the first thing we're going to do is just take a couple of breaths. Breathe with the belly. Then we're going to go into a pelvic tilt. So think of this as like a dog tucks his tail between his legs. And then when you relax, the tailbone comes back down. And you'll also feel your back change shape. So when you tuck the tailbone, you're squeezing the butt, and the small of the back flattens out into the floor. And then as you relax, the tailbone comes back down, and the small of the back pops up off the floor. Let's do that 2 more times. Tuck the tailbone, squeeze the butt. Relax back down. Keep breathing. Tuck the tailbone, squeeze the butt. And relax back down. Then we take that into a full bridge. Hands by our side. You can stick with the pelvic tilt if you want. If you want to go into the full bridge, tuck the tailbone, squeeze the butt, drive the hips up. Take a breath, and when you're ready, lower slow. Again, tuck the tailbone, squeeze, drive up. Breathe. Lower slow. Let's do 2 more. tuck, squeeze, drive up. Keep breathing, lower slow. One last time, tuck, squeeze, drive. And lower slow. At the bottom, let's take the knees side to side, nice and slow, windshield wipers. Do that about 3 times, and then when both the legs are over to the right, keep them there. Keep the shoulders pinned down, bring the arms up, shoulder height, rotate the hands back so the back of the hand is against the floor. Your arms are kind of shaped like a cactus, and then turn your head to the left. Come out of that slow. Knees back up to the ceiling. Take the knees over to the left. Keep the shoulders down. Rotate the head to the right. Breathe. Back up top. Bring the hands down by the side. And let's just bring the right knee to the chest. The left leg, you can keep it bent, or if you want more of a stretch, you can straighten out the left leg and you'll feel an increased stretch in that right hip. You can have the hands around the knee. You can hug the knee to the chest. You might have a belt or a strap or a towel or something wrapped around the leg. Whatever works for you. You should be feeling the stretch in your right hip. Good. I'm going to let that go, but I want to work this right leg. So I'm going to bend it at 90 degrees, and then I'm just going to roll the hip around in a big circle. So I'm drawing it up to my chest, and then rolling it and stretching it out. Drawing it up to my chest, rolling it and stretching out. I want to do that about 3 times. And then I'm going the other way, just using the natural ball and socket joint of the hip. Go slow, take your time. A little snap, crackle, pop might happen, but there shouldn't be any pain. And after about 3 of those, I'm going to straighten out my right leg and bend my left leg. And then from there, I'm bringing the left leg to the chest. Again, if you want, you can bend the right knee to kind of take a little bit of pressure off. But if you want that increased stretch, then the right leg is straight. I'm just switching sides. And I'm going to let that go. Keep the leg bent. And again, I'm going to drop down and then raise the hip up. Big, slow circle. I straighten the leg out as it gets down to my foot, and I draw the knee up to my chest. About 3 slow circles, and then change directions. So if you were going to the right, go to the left, or if you were going clockwise, you can go counterclockwise, however you want to think about it. Just going to do 1 more of those. And then I'm going to draw both my knees up to my chest, hugging them to my chest. Breathe, relax. The knees can be wide or the knees can be together, whatever works for you. And from this position, you can rock side to side. See how that feels on your back. can also rock front to back. And if you want, keep that momentum and rock up to a seated position. Good, good. From there, I'm going to put my hands beside my hips. I've got longer arms, so I'm going to be putting my hands a little bit further back behind my hips. We're going to do a reverse tabletop. Some people want blocks here, and again, it kind of depends on the length of your arms. My fingertips are pointed towards my toes, and I'm going to start by just pressing through the floor and raising my hips up. This might be as far as you get. That's a-okay. If you want, draw the hips up towards the ceiling. When you get up there, breathe. Lower down slow. Relax at the bottom. Again, hips up. If you can, drive the hips up towards the ceiling. Breathe. Lower down slow. I'm going to do that just one more time. Take a breath. And then as you're ready, hips up, and if you can, taking the hips up towards the ceiling. All right, back down. Hug the knees to the chest. Catch your breath. From there, I'm going to flip over to all fours. So I wanted to show you guys something. I've got a couple of 5-pound dumbbells here, and some people, when they get to all fours and they get on their wrists, it gives them wrist pain. Well, if you've got a dumbbell, especially kind of like this, it's got a hexagonal shape, like a straight edge. You can rest that on the floor, and it gives you relief for your wrists, because now instead of the wrist being extended when you're putting weight through it, you've got a hold of something, and it's like you're holding onto a handle. It's almost like you've got a handle on the floor, and it keeps your wrist in a more neutral position, which then might cause less pain. That's something you might try if being on your wrists causes you pain. So we want our weight evenly distributed over our wrists and our knees. The wrists are underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips, and we're going with good old cat-cow. So as I breathe in, I'm going to bow my spine, raise my head. And as I breathe out, I'm going to arch my spine and drop my head. Again, breathe in, raise the head, raise the tailbone. Breathe out, drop the head, drop the tailbone. Keep going. And we'll do 2 more of these. Breathe in, bow the spine. Breathe out, arch the spine. Breathe in, bow. Breathe out, arch. Good. Back to neutral. I'm looking at the ground about 2 feet in front of my hands, and we're going to go with the core, so I'm just going to kick the left leg out behind me. Straight back, squeeze the butt. You can either reach with the heel or you can reach with the toes. You hold it for about a breath, and then you switch sides. Try to maintain that tabletop, trying to maintain those 4 points, and switch sides. If you reach with the heels last time, this time reach with the toes. Feel the difference in the stretch. Switch sides. Reach. Switch sides. One more on each side. Switch sides. Good. Back to all fours. Same thing with the upper body. I'm going to take my left arm and reach up. Bring it down, switch sides. Right arm, reach up. If you can, you might try and open up your chest and shoulder a little bit. Switch sides. Left, reach up. Obviously that's going to throw off that tabletop. That's okay. Switch sides because you're getting some good mobility in your thoracic spine. Switch sides. On this third one, we're going to thread the needle. So I'm reaching up with my left, and then I'm going to drop the left down underneath the right. You might come down to the forearm, or you might come all the way down to the shoulder, thread the needle to the shoulder and the side of the head. Breathe. Come out of that slow, back to neutral. And then we're switching sides. So I'm going to raise the right arm up, reach up, and then I'm going to thread the right underneath the left. And I might go down to the forearm. That's going to be somewhat of a twist, or if you can, you want to go further, drop it all the way down to the shoulder and the side of the head. Once you're down there, see if you can't relax, let your spine experience the twist. Breathe. Come out of that, back to neutral. And then we're going with bird dog. So, again, I've got my wrists underneath my shoulders, my knees underneath my hips, and I'm going to kick my left leg out and raise my right arm. I'm reaching across my body in a diagonal pattern. Take about a breath, and then switch sides. Right leg, left arm. Switch sides. Left leg, right arm. Switch sides. Right leg, left arm. Let's do two more. Switch. And switch. Last one, switch. If you want, you can add a crunch, drawing the elbow and the knee together. That's going to be a bit more of a challenge, but maybe that's what you're looking for, only if it's in the cards for you. Switch sides, right leg, left arm. If you want, crunch, elbow and knee together, and then extend back out. All 4 points down, push the knees wide. Sit back into child's. Take a load off there for a minute, but I just want to show you something. Most of you have seen this already. What we were just doing, the bird dog, is the same thing as the dead bug. If I'm here on my back, my spine is supported. And so I'm in the basically the same posture I was just in, I just have the support of the floor. From this position, if I extend opposite arm and leg, I'm getting a very similar core type workout. It's not as tough, but you still get a lot of the same benefit of the core strength and the coordination. And you've got the support of the floor in case bird dog is too much for your spine. So maybe if your back's just having a bad day, or like I said, bird dog's just not in the cards for you, this is still a good exercise and will still give you a lot of benefit again for core strength and core coordination. All right, just wanted to demonstrate that. You guys are in child's, and we're coming back up from child's to all fours. And now I want to do that 2-dog progression that I was talking about. So the first one that I'm going to do is, from this position, bring your elbows down to where your hands are. So you're still on all fours. Your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Your knees are underneath your hips. Your back is straight. From this position, I'm just going to shift my weight forward onto my shoulders. And then shift my weight back to where I started. That's it. Shift the weight forward. This is a variation of up dog. Shift the weight back, variation of down dog. 2 more times. Shift forward. Shift back. Last one. Shift forward. Shift back. Then take the knees wide. Sit back into child's rest. When you're moving through these types of motions, you're weight bearing through your shoulder, which is going to help with strength and stability in your shoulder. And if you've got your forearms on the floor, you've got a lot of stability there. Hopefully it doesn't cause you any problems. That's the easiest one of the variations. Take another breath here in child's. And then we're coming back up to all fours. Now I'm going to go through a progression, so each one's going to get a little harder. Listen to your body. If it hurts, don't do it. If the first one that we did is A-okay with you, then stick with that one. If you want to go further, we were here on our forearms. Progression would be to our hands. So we call this puppy dog. It's a variation of down dog, but my back stays straight. I'm flat on my hands. My hips are above my knees. I try and take my hips up and back. And then again, I'm just going to shift my weight forward. Shift my weight back. Shift forward. Shift back. 2 more. Shift forward. Shift back. Last one. Shift forward. This is our variation of up dog. Shift back. This is our variation of down dog. And after you've been there for about a breath, let's get back into child's. Again, take a rest. Knees wide, sit back on the heels, breathe. So we did it on forearms, and then we did it on our hands, the puppy dog variation. Those are the first 2. The third one is the whole enchilada. That is the 2 dogs from up dog to down dog. If it hurts, don't do it. I can't emphasize that enough. Take your time. Remember that you do have those first 2 variations to build up to this last variation. This last variation is only if it's in the cards for you. I get to all fours. From here, I'm going to curl my toes under. I'm going to spread my hands out a little bit, and I'm going to take my hips up. So I get into down dog. With that down dog, I'm trying to get a straight line from my wrist through my spine, all the way through my tailbone. I try and take my hips as far up and back as I can. Some folks are flexible enough to get their heels to the floor here. That's not me. It's up to you. Getting the heels down is not the objective, but you do want to get a good stretch on the hamstrings by, again, taking the hips up and back. And again, I'm just going to shift the weight forward over my shoulders, drop my hips, and I'm into up dog. Then I'm going to shift the weight back, taking the hips up and back, down dog. 3 more. Shift the weight forward, drop the hips, up dog. Shift the weight back, hips up and back, down dog. If at any point you need a rest, get into child's, take a rest. Shift forward, drop the hips, up dog. Shift back, hips up and back, down dog. That's 3. 1 more time. Shift forward, drop the hips, up dog. Shift the weight back, hips up and back, down dog. Now hang out here for one last second. And then bringing the knees down, bringing the elbows down, pushing the knees wide, and sitting back in the child's for a good rest. Continue to rest while I talk to you for a minute. So again, just want to point out that that's 3 variations. One on your elbows, one on your hands, that's the puppy dog variation, and then the whole thing when you're in down dog. And they're all variations of the 2 dogs. You do what works for you. You might be here on your forearms and you might find that just that gentle, simple rocking motion is plenty for you and your shoulders and your hips, and that is a-okay. It's still going to help make you stronger, and I appreciate the effort. From here, let's get to tall kneeling. Take your time, get to all fours first, and then bringing the knees under, and then again coming up to a tall kneeling position. So our knees are about hip width apart, and we're just going to do a low back extension. So as I breathe in, I'm going to extend. Breathe out, relax forward. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out, forward. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out, flex. 2 more times. Extend. And relax. Extend and relax. While we're here, let's do a twist. So I'm going to raise my arms up to shoulder height, and I'm going to rotate my whole upper body to the left. Move this camera a little bit so your knees and your lower body stay pointed forward. Your upper body rotates to the left. Hang out here and breathe. Good, back to neutral, straight ahead, and then we're rotating to the right, opposite direction. Upper body is rotating 90 degrees from the lower body. Back to neutral, let the arms drop, and then I'm going to bring my right leg forward, and I'm going to go into a transition to standing. So you can either come up to standing however you want, or from that position, bringing the left leg forward into a fold. Breathe in, come halfway up, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Then relax, shake it out. Nice work, nice work. Let's do some balance. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is ground ourselves. Tadasana, mountain pose. Your feet are hip width apart. The inside edges of your feet are parallel. You want to grab the floor with your feet. So you can roll around, stand on your toes, roll back, try and stand on the heels. You can roll the feet out to the outer edge. You can roll the feet in to the inner edge. Then put the whole foot down on the floor. Grab the floor with the toes. See if you can't spread the toes out and grab the floor. Once you feel centered, You're working up one joint at a time. The ankles are soft. The knees are soft, a little bit of a bend in the knees. The hips are neutral, they're stacked up underneath us. We open up the chest, palms face forward. Breathe. Sink down into the pose a little bit. Think about the mountain. Shift your weight over to one foot. Once you feel like that foot is good and rooted into the ground, you can pick up your free leg and set the heel on the ankle. That might be as far as you go. If you want, it's a-okay to have a fingertip on a table or a wall or something like that. If you want, you can take the free leg up as high as you want to go. You can set it on the calf, on the knee, on the inside of the thigh. Hands can be at center. Hands can reach out. Or if you want, reach up into tree. Breathe. Let that go, step down, shake it out. Meet me back in mountain. Again, center yourself, root your feet back down to the floor. Shift your weight over to the opposite side. When you're ready, pick up the free foot, set the heel on the ankle. Again, you can have a fingertip on a table or a chair or the wall, whatever works for you. That's not cheating, we're just practicing our balance. If you're able, you can take that free leg as high as you want to take it. Hands can be at center. Hands can reach out. Or you can reach up into tree. Let that go, step down, shake it out. We did that T-twist on the knees. Let's do the same thing standing. So I'm going to put my feet together, and I'm still trying to ground myself through my feet, grab the floor with my feet. Got a little bit of a bend in the knees. If you're worried about your balance, it's okay to have your feet hip width apart. And I'm raising my arms, shoulder height. And then I'm going to rotate my upper body to the left. Breathe. to neutral, straight ahead, and then rotate the upper body to the right. Back to neutral, straight ahead. Let the arms down, shake it out. Good, good, good. I've got one more standing pose before we wrap things up. Everyone's favorite, chair. So for chair, you can have your feet together. If you're good with your balance, if you're worried about your balance, you can have your feet hip width apart. The main thing we want to do here is keep our weight back onto our heels. If you want, you can have a chair, a physical chair behind you, one that's steady, one that's not on wheels. But that's the same idea, is that you're sitting your butt back into a chair. With this exercise, with this posture, we're leading with the hips. One way to think about that is they call it the waiter position. If you go to a fancy restaurant and they bring you a big fat bill, they do a number kind of like that, right? So think about that. Think about leading with the hips. Push your butt out. Keep the weight on the heels. Keep the nose over the toes as you lower slowly. The back is straight. And you go down as far as you want to go down. And slowly standing back up, just the opposite. Relax, shake it out. Good work. Let's get back down to a seated position. All right. Breathe. Think about the conversation you just had with your body. How easy is it to sit up tall and to sit up straight? All those little muscles along your spine are now awake and firing. Deepen the breath. Slow the breath. Back into the rhythm. Breathe with the belly. Well done. 3 breaths. Breathe in. Let it go. Breathe in. Horse lips. Breathe in. Lion's breath. Thank you so much for being here this morning, spending some time with me. I very much appreciate it. Namaste.